IronMan, North Carolina, 70.3, little race report. Just got back. It's Monday morning. I did that race Saturday. It was my 4th year in a row there. That should tell you something. I love that race. I think it's a fantastic race. I think the towns, because there's 2 of them really, that you're participating in while there. You've got Wrightsville Beach and then Wilmington, North Carolina. It's just a whole vibe, man. It's the beach. Wilmington's a cool town by itself, but then you got Wrightsville Beach where it starts. I just love it. This year we stayed in between, so we got a VRBO in between the 2. So it was about 12 minutes to the start and about 12 minutes to Wilmington as well. We got there on Thursday, checked in. The check-in was great this year. It wasn't at the convention center, but it was at the Aloft, which was probably a little bit nicer. It wasn't as big, but it was very nice. It was dog friendly in the lobby and in the store, so that was a big plus for me. I always bring my dogs with me. It was fantastic. The store was smaller, but it had everything that you needed. So I was just super happy with that. And we went out to dinner at Oceanic on the pier at Wrightsville Beach that night. It's just a great time. Friday means bag check-ins and bike check-ins, so it's a 2 transition race. So we took our run bag to Wilmington to T2, and then got in the car and drove out to T1 and dropped our bike off. We didn't take our bike bag, just our bike. We do our bike bag race morning. Anyway, so race morning, clock goes off about 4:30. My alarm clock, about 4:30. We got up. We headed in to drop off our bike bag and make sure that our bikes were good. And then we, luckily I had a great Sherpa, and so Bradley drove us to the swim start. We got there around 6 for a 7:10 a.m. start. It was cold. It was 41 degrees. Air temperature, it was windy. Water temperature was about 67, so it was wetsuit legal. So we had our wetsuits on, blankets, sweatshirts, hats, gloves. It was a little chilly sitting there. Very fast current swim. I'm probably a 45-minute half Ironman swimmer. I did this in 33, and that's because I got off course and had to go back and swim kind of backwards to a buoy. So I probably would have done that in 30-ish, which was kind of a normal time that day. Fast swim, saltwater, a little choppy at first, but no big deal. Made it out 33 minutes. It is a half-mile run to your bike. So transition 1 is long. Got on the bike, cold, vest, arm warmers, gloves. Was still pretty cold. The air was like 48 at this point, so going, on a bike moving, it was a little chilly. The bike was surprisingly more difficult this year than in the past because of the wind. It had a 12 to 18 mile an hour wind in your face for like the first hour and a half, and it was really kind of miserable. I didn't want to overexert myself, so I just kind of maintained what my normal power output would be. I rode this course 2 years ago at 22.5 miles an hour, which was 2 hours and 35 minutes. So I'm in better shape now. I knew I could do that. Wasn't happening with the wind. I ended up going almost 3 hours at 19.4 miles an hour. So my goal time for the race was shot. So I just kind of said, screw it. Let's just keep going. Made it into T2. Saw my son, saw my buddies, saw my dog, and started the run. It's a half marathon run, a little bit different course this year. We took a right out of T1 and went to the old finish line, which was kind of a park, looped that, and then came back past T2 again, and then out to the lake. There's a turnaround at about mile 7.5, and you come back. And the finish line this year is shorter. Excuse me, not shorter. It's closer than last year's. So it finishes across the street from the battleship, or across the water, I should say, from the battleship. I like the finish line this year. I thought it was great. Corporate Ironman does a really good job at making the 70.3 distance feel like all the bells and whistles of a full Ironman. The finish line, the store, the swag. We got regular backpacks this year. The shirts were great. So good job on that. The race took me 5 hours and 5:53. Ran a very consistent 9:30 mile, and then walked the aid stations and drank. So I ended up at like a 9:55 run pace, which I know isn't great, but coming off of a pretty difficult bike, I was happy with that. This is a great race. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're going to do a 70.3, I think this is the one. I've never done Augusta. Matter of fact, I've never done any other one, but I have done 5 full Ironmans. And I can tell you this is my favorite course. So go do it. Good luck. Have fun.